Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Why the Fact Not. Coming to all of you with a brand new video. Here are 10 most richest and most notorious drug dealers in history. Read the list of the 10 most richest and most notorious drug dealers in history. They're a fascinating collection of powerful men and women who lived violent or strange lives while amassing some of the greatest fortunes imaginable. Government officials and acquaintances viewed these criminals and businessmen as some of the most fearful on earth. Many of these landed on official most wanted lists in several countries. Intriguing is the strong connections they had to other criminals, or their reliance on keeping to themselves. Many were part of family businesses that made the richest drug lords who they were. Amazing, too, is the incredibly accurate net worth attributed to each based on government and law enforcement records, and in some cases photos of huge piles of money retrieved during police raids. Net worth listed here from least to greatest 10. Al Capone. $1.3 billion. This famous American crime boss often went by the name of Scarface, but he was born Alphonse Gabriel Capone. He was the child of immigrants from Italy, and one of 9 children born to Gabrielle and Teresa Capone. The Capones had come from the town of Angri, lived for a time in Fiume, Austria-Hungary, and then sailed by ship to America to settle in Brooklyn, New York. Though Capone was a promising Catholic school student, he eventually was expelled because he hit one of the women teachers in the face. After that, he took on a variety of odd jobs in Brooklyn and mentored with Johnny Torrio, the gangster. Capone worked his way through small gangs to more powerful ones, and eventually followed Torrio to work as a brothel bouncer. His work came with the side benefit of syphilis, which contracted when he was about 20 years old. By the time he was 26, Capone took over control of the crime group Torrio headed. The organization had illegal burglaries and liquor transportation in a crime network that extended into Canada. Topping it off was the protection given to the network from politicians and law enforcement. He became a celebrity, known for his jewelry, custom suits, expensive cigars, extravagant foods and drinks, and plenty of women. He was imprisoned for violating the prohibition laws and for tax evasion, even though his criminal activities often centered on presumptions of physical brutality and murder. Capone served time in Alcatraz and the Federal Correctional Institution at Terminal Island, CA, the Atlanta U.S. Penitentiary, and the Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia. He died from a stroke, pneumonia, and cardiac arrest in his mansion on Palm Island, Florida, after struggling with symptoms caused by the late stages of syphilis. 9. Priselda Blanco. $2 billion. She was a member of the Medellin cartel, a Colombian drug lady, and part of the Miami underworld of cocaine drug trading. She is said to be the trafficker responsible for perhaps 200 murders during the time she transported cocaine from Colombia to Southern California, Miami, and New York. She was born in Cartagena and was shot to death in Medellin at the age of 69. She started her criminal life picking pockets and looting. She was a historic figure in drug trafficking from Colombia to the United States. Her drug network was violent, lawless, and freewheeling. Her corrupt business practices created revenues from drug distribution said to be more than $80 every month. Her competitors eventually made attempts to assassinate her, so she escaped to California. She was arrested and spent 10 years in jail but ran her cocaine empire from prison. She was equally comfortable with guns, cocaine, and a bisexual lifestyle. Court proceedings revealed that she had killed random bystanders, her business competitors, strippers, a boy who was just 4 years old, and 3 of her former husbands. According to one of her sons, she eventually embraced a new life as a born-again Christian. Priselda Blanco Restrepo carries several nicknames: Cocaine Godmother, La Madrina, Queen of Narco Trafficking, Black Widow, La Dama de la Mafia. 8. Carlos Later. $2.7 billion. Carlos Enrique Later Rivas is serving prison time in the United States. As a Colombian drug lord, he co-founded the Medellin cartel. He operated a massive cocaine transportation network in the Bahamas on Norman's Key Island. He is significant for founding Muerte a Secuestrados, the paramilitary organization focused on retaliation against guerrillas who kidnapped cartel families and members. He also founded the National Latin Movement, which was described as neo-Nazi in its politics and focused on destroying the extradition treaty existing between Colombia and the United States. Charged with drug trafficking, kidnapping and murder, Leder's downfall came when he attracted attention to his Norman's key operations by openly bribing officials in the Bahamas. Leder's father is German and his mother is Colombian. His family owned a used car business, and later began his path toward a life of crime by stealing American cars to sell in the family business. It is believed that Leder continues to serve 55 years of a life without parole sentence plus an additional 135 years. But, because he agreed to testify against Manuel Noriega, it is also thought that Leder is living in the Witness Protection Program 7. Gilberto Rodriguez Orajula and his brother, $3 billion. Gilberto and his brother Miguel joined together with Jose Santa Cruz Londono to form the Cali cartel. It was named for its city base of Santiago de Cali. Cali has access to the Pacific coast, which is its major distinction from other Colombian cities. The brothers began trafficking marijuana and then added cocaine. The Cali cartel differed from the violent Medellin cartel by using bribery to reach its goals. Gilberto was arrested when the Colombian National Police raided his home. Gilberto had evaded the police earlier because he hid in a bathroom cabinet along with a tank of oxygen. He was convicted and sent to prison to serve a 15-year sentence. He was freed for a time, and then recaptured. Gilberto and Miguel were both extradited to the United States and pleaded guilty to conspiracy to import cocaine and subsequently conspiracy to engage in laundering money. Gilberto is serving 30 years at the Butner, North Carolina Federal Correctional Institution. The brothers agreed to plead guilty in exchange for obtaining immunity for 29 members of their family's 6. Jose Gonzalo Rodriguez Gacha, $5 billion known as El Mexicano, Gacha was killed at the age of 42 by police. He had made enemies with the Cali cartel, the Colombian government, the FARC guerrillas and Victor Carranza and his so-called Emerald Guild. Eventually, his enemies collaborated to break him. The Cali cartel infiltrated his organization and the rest shared intelligence reports with the government. Informants contributed to Gacha's locations and eventually a huge raid took place. Gacha was killed by helicopter-mounted machine gun fire. His funeral was attended by thousands of mourners from Pacho, where residents commended his work to renovate town buildings. Gacha had prospered in drug trafficking, and he was a known killer. He developed a lucrative alliance with the Ochoa family, and that grew into the Medellin cartel. Gacha was the pioneer of new drug trafficking routes in Houston, Texas, Los Angeles, California, and Mexico. His love for the popular culture of Mexico earned him his nickname, and he capitalized on his passion by owning horse farms and wealth. His operations stretched from Panama to California and beyond. He set up the largest jungle laboratory for making and packing cocaine named Tranquilandia. There were 2,000 workers who lived in dormitories at the complex, and when it was finally destroyed by the GI and the Colombian National Police, more than 13 metric tons of cocaine were destroyed as well. 5. Kunsa, $5 billion. Kunsa is the Burmese aka for the Chinese Jiang Qifu. He was born in Burma and spent his early years training with the Burmese army and the Kuomintang. He eventually fought to establish his own territory, which allowed him to conduct extensive opium smuggling in the Golden Triangle. From 1976 and for 20 years following, he dominated the opium traffic. He used the support of both Burmese and Thai governments to accomplish his goals. His massive network earned him the title Opium King. His work as a drug warlord extended internationally. When American Drug Enforcement Agency broke the links he had established with his international brokers, he closed down operations and moved to Yanga to live with his mistresses in great wealth. 4. Jorge Luis Ochoa Vasquez and his brothers, $6 billion. Jorge, Juan David, and Fabio Ochoa were primary members of the dangerous Medellin cartel during the later years of the 1980s. The brothers were notorious for their cooperation in manufacturing, distributing, and marketing cocaine. The Ochoa brothers originally were part of a cattle breeding family that also did business with family restaurants. Their movement into the narcotics business began during the 1970s, and their cartel was founded by Jorge. The Colombian family was involved in numerous arrests, indictments, and extradition attempts in various countries. But by 1984 their power was so grounded that the cartel made a public announcement that each Colombian extradition would result in 10 murdered Colombian judges. Jorge was listed in Forbes as one of the top 20 richest men in the world. His personal estimated worth in 1987 was close to $3 billion. 3. Daywood Ibrahim Kaskar, $6.7 billion. Daywood Ibrahim is from Mumbai, India. He founded D Company, a crime syndicate organized in India. In 2003, he earned the rank of global terrorist. In 2011, he earned the spot of third on world's 10 most wanted criminals. He's been charged with terrorism, drug trafficking, extortion, murder, and targeted killing. He currently lives in Karachi, Pakistan. It is believed that he controls the money transferring system called Hawala. It's an informal value transfer method which depends on honorable cash movement within a network of money brokers. The United States Department of the Treasury has attempted to monitor his smuggling routes and narcotics shipments. His organization operates in India, South Asia, Africa, the UK, Western Europe and the Middle East, and shares similar networks with Al-Qaeda. Many concerted efforts have taken place to have Ibrahim brought to justice in India, but he maintains Pakistani passports and residence, and reports indicate that he may have shifted operations to the Pakistani-Afghanistan border. His D Company has also been linked to the Bollywood industry, as numerous studios and films were financed and threatened and extorted by it. The film Shootout at Wadala is about Ibrahim's D Company and its growing influence too. Amado Carrillo Fuentes, $25 billion. He was known as the Lord of the Skies because he transported drugs using his huge fleet of jets. He also viciously took over the Juarez cartel when he assassinated his boss. Once Rafael Eduardo was dead, it opened the way for Fuentes to become the cartel head. Fuentes came from a family of 11 children, and once he learned the drug trafficking trade, he added his brothers and his son as his employees. The empire he built was a multi-billion-dollar drug trafficking machine. In Mexico and the United States, authorities were determined to capture him. In an effort to evade them, Fuentes tried to have his appearance changed with plastic surgery. The operation wasn't successful, and he died from surgical complications from either a respirator which malfunctioned or medication. He'd had his bodyguards with him in the operating room to watch over the July surgery. In November, the two surgeons who operated on him were found dead. Their bodies had apparently been tortured and then encased in steel drums filled with concrete. A fictionalized version of his life, starring Rafael Amaya, called El Señor de los Cielos, the Lord of the Skies, was aired on Telemundo for several years. 1. Pablo Escobar, $30 billion, topping the list of the richest drug lords. The notorious narco terrorist and drug lord from Colombia was born Pablo Emilian Escobar Gaviria. He was the leader of a cartel known to have smuggled 80% of the cocaine in the United States. The king of cocaine earned his title for having an annual personal income of more than $21.9 billion per year. He was from Rio Negro and grew up in Medellin. He was a university student in Medellin for a time, but left before earning a degree to sell fake lottery tickets, contraband cigarettes, and to steal motor vehicles. He developed a skill for infiltrating the United States drug market and specialized in cocaine smuggling. He is credited with establishing the first successful smuggling routes leading into the US. His Medellin cartel was known for murders and massacres of politicians and law enforcement officials. Though he became popular for building football fields and house in Colombia, the city also earned the title of the world's murder capital. Colombian National Police killed Escobar when he was just 44 years old. And that is it, guys. This is the 10 most richest and most notorious drug dealers in history. Hope you all like this video, and please don't forget to smash that like button. And you're new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button and also hit that notification bell so you will be updated on my next video upload. Mega love shout out to my premier team, Team Hainan, Team SMB, and all its very active and supportive members. This is why the fact not see you all on my next video. Thank you for watching.